Okay, so this is a real fire exit. Hello there, mortals. I am Ynsin, and don't worry, I already know the reason you're at this video. I wrote the title. You want to know how to distinguish the fire exits from mimics. Now, I should first iterate that I'm talking about the mimics mod, the one that turns the fire exits into fake fire exits and therefore death. I'm not talking about the one that people thinks is called mimic, called Skinwalker, that takes people's voice lines and then projects them out to try and trick other players. And I'm not talking about the mod, if it ever existed, that turns items into monsters. I'm not talking about any of those. I am talking about the fire exit one, which is why there is a fire exit right behind me. I'm going to show you 3 methods that I have found that you can use to distinguish mimics from the real fire exit doors, and this is going to be the first one. I know that this is a mimic because there is another fire exit right here. Very suspicious, and only one of them can be the actual fire exit. First method we are going to use is... This is probably the most reliable method that I would ever recommend. I've got the shovel, it costs $30, it's available straight from the start of the game. You can get it on the first mission with the 60 you start with, and if you hit a fire exit and you hear this, that's the actual fire exit. Okay, let's try the other one. So, if you hit a fire exit and it makes this sound, not the baby crying, the big deep rumbling, that's how you know it is a mimic. There is something behind there and it is reacting to the stimulus that you just swung into its face. So we know that this one is true because it did not growl at us. Oh, it's flooded, so we're underwater. Okay, well, we'll enter back in here. And now I'll show you what happens when you tussle with an actual mimic. You can do what I like to call a probe for the sound twice. You'll also see that middle finger right in the middle of the screen right there as well. So there's also visual indicators as well. But on the third hit, you see the same screen I bet you've seen 1,000 times. Now this is all great information, but what do we want to do with it? Well, you can use this to better understand the game yourself, better survive in solo mode with mods, or you could survive that guy's lobby that has like 20 players in it, and all of them are trying to tell you to go into the real fire exit. Because if there's anything I have learned from the Team Fortress 2 sniper, it's that as long as there's 2 men on this planet, one is going to want one dead. Now, I'm not going to make you watch the journey, I'm just going to go skip to the next method that I have found that actually works. I think it's pretty safe to say that this is in fact a mimic, because I was lucky enough to find this violence sign and I hit it with it and it did a big scream. So let's drop this on the floor. The next trick that I found is spray paint. I would probably not recommend spray paint over the shovel because it costs twice as much, but if you're playing in a lobby with mimics, chances are you've got a shameless troll in the lobby and they will probably be buying the spray paint for obvious reasons. You can draw phalluses everywhere. So we want to shake this bad boy up. And then we want to see how much spray paint it actually takes to anger this mimic. Nope, nothing. Okay. Rule number 3. This one is going to cost you everything that you start with, all 60 credits, so you don't get any lights, you don't get any walkie-talkies. I would not recommend this strategy, but chances are in a huge lobby, somebody's probably got one at some point. I am, of course, talking about the boombox. This thing generates an alarming amount of sound, and sound, of course, aggravates all mobs, including the mimic. So let's put a nice fat beat here, and then wait and see if the mimic reacts. It's reacting! Oh, that is fast! That's 2 probes. No way! Oh, that is so cool! So you... Ah! Okay, but you did see there, right, that you don't actually have to be killed by the mimic. You don't even have to be near the door when you have the boombox to probe it. So if you've already tried probing a bunch of doors and you think that you're at 2 probes, the boombox is probably going to be your next best choice. I tried a bunch of other things. I tried the clown horn, I tried the toy robot and just having it in my pocket, standing next to the mimic for an extended period of time. They didn't necessarily seem to be very effective at getting a probe, but the ear horn did get a probe pretty quickly. I think the ear horn, much like the speaker, generates an alarming amount of noise, but they are going to lure all other monsters in the vicinity to your location as well, so that's also something to be mindful of. Now, if you're hosting, you can go into the config files in your BepInEx loader, which is in your Lethal Company root directory. You just go into Steam, you right-click the game, you open the Manage drop-down menu, and then you click Browse Local Files, and that'll show you the root directory of Lethal Company with the BepInEx folder. Double-click on that, double-click on Config, and then you will find one called x753.mimics.config. This is a config file that allows you to basically set up the mimics for the lobby that you are hosting. I don't think it works client-side. I think it is only host-side. And it's got a couple of things in it. It has settings that allows the mimics to kind of spawn as slightly deformed versions of fire exits, so they'll have jumbled up letters or there'll be something wrong with it. The config file calls this easy mode, so I highly doubt you'll ever come across this in a public lobby. Now, a lot of people are also saying that you can use the color of the mimic fire exit, compare that against the real fire exit, and you'll be able to tell which one's which. But I haven't tested that, so why don't we go do an experiment? Why don't we go test that right now? There was something nasty. Someone's chasing me already. I just got here. My dude. What is that? This is the real fire exit. Great. Now, we're actually in a pretty good place right here. We can take a screenshot of this fire exit, although there's a couple of bars blocking it, and we'll go find any other fire exit and we'll take a screenshot of that. I'll stick them side by side and then we'll see whether or not they actually look the same. Because I do have the setting to make them look identical turned off. Okay, so here's the other one. We will take a screenshot of this and then I'll put them up side by side so that you can see whether or not there's a difference. Also, I found a flashbang right here. Let's see if this triggers the mimic, huh? I think that'd be a fun way to end the episode. Well, I can't tell, actually. There's one other thing that I've seen people on the internet talking about in frequency, and that's that when you actually go to exit, every now and then, the actual exit prompt will change to a different word, like die or feed, but as you can see right here, it's not actually happening. I've never seen this happen either. I think this may be an early build of the Mimic that people are referencing, but it doesn't work now. That also jump scared me. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I think we've explored a lot of options. Thank you so much for watching. Right up here, you're gonna find the playlist for Lethal Company, the playlist that I am making with my friend Epic Flying Horse, and right up here, you're gonna find another playlist that I think you'd really enjoy. And of course, just down here's my subscribe button. If you click on that, I'd say we're even. I did all the research and you just get to watch the video. So, until I make the next video, thank you so much for watching and goodbye!